This is Donovan with MauiNow, and today I am joined by Wakon and Jill Bowman from Bowman Termite Pest Management. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Donovan.
Hey, thanks, Donovan.
Thank you. It's great to have you guys both here. So I know a lot of people and businesses here on Maui are struggling with this COVID-19 lockdown, and we're really here at MauiNow trying to get a better idea of what's happening in the community, how our businesses are handling this. So if you could provide any input on how you guys are handling this as far as your business is concerned, or just any information you'd like to share.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing has just been pretty wild. I mean, it kind of hit home when, once we realized, when the governor started shutting things down or started talking about like people sticking in place. And it, I think maybe a week before all that happened, I mean, all these dates have really run together so much. But, when it all started, it was like, I realized that, we have an aging workforce to begin with. Jill's parents still work with us. They're over 70 years old, and we've got some other longtime inspectors that have been with us that are
been with my dad
been
like since the beginning of time.
Yeah,
We're concerned about them.
Yeah, so we started getting really concerned, prior
Right.
to the actual shutdown. So we started talking to them, or I did. I started engaging them, saying, what are we going to do?
Right.
And a lot of them were like, hey, whatever you think we should do, Wakon. And so I mean, ultimately, we did have to start sending people home just because of the fact that they were in that target area, and
Right.
concerned for them. So
Right.
at one time, before all this began, we had 8 full-time inspectors on, on 4 different islands. We cover Molokai and Lanai and Big Island and Maui. We don't have an inspector on Oahu, but we're down to like 3 now. So
Right.
And we're still trying to do quite a bit of work. Definitely not as much as we were doing. We don't have 8 inspectors worth of work, but initially the shock of everything that was happening, it was happening so rapidly. It was like every day was another day. It was like when we would wake up, it was like, I would wake up at like 5 o'clock, like, okay, here we go.
Right.
I mean, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like
Right. It's so hard to get
Nobody
momentum going, right?
Yeah.
What do we do? How do we move forward?
Yeah.
I've definitely been facing that in my life too, trying to get momentum and movement forward in business life and personal life.
Yeah.
So just moving on. So what is there anything you guys are doing, going above and beyond, any special measures you've taken to still be operating during this time?
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. We're kind of blessed. I mean, pest control is an essential business. I mean, it really has been. We're responsible for taking care of, public health, public food supply. I mean, that's pest control in general. That's what pest control does.
Right.
We have, we train with PPE. I mean, everybody that works pest control, we already know how to use masks or properly fit them. We have the cartridges, N95 or better. We know how to use them. We have gloves. We have goggles, glasses. We have coveralls, disposable coveralls.
Right. So you're still able to operate safely.
Yeah, we had these measures. So, initially what we needed to do was make sure we had the plan. So the first thing we started was we implemented like a aerosol prevention. Is a big long name, but I was doing a lot of research, and it was basically we put a program in place for safety wise, and then I started to bring people in, in small groups, and said, look, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to protect ourselves. We're going to, it's not, I tried to tell my technicians that it was no different than applying pesticides. We're going to try and reduce the risk to others and to ourselves. And that's what we do in general.
Right. You guys are already professionals at that.
That's exactly what I told them. I said, this is what we do. This is what you're trained for. We're going to reduce the risks of exposure to this COVID-19, and we're going to reduce the risk of exposure to others from us, because we're going to be out there doing this work. So we talk about wearing the stuff and doing the things that we're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned food supply there as well. I mean, it's it doesn't come top of mind. You think pest control, you think of a guy spraying around your house, but it is true. That's another thing. That's a really important, essential part of our livelihood, is making sure our food is protected from pests. 100%.
That's right.
Yeah. Right.
The National Pest Management Association put out that 20% of the world's food supply is either contaminated or eaten by rodents yearly. So I mean, that's a major chunk of food, and that's in general across the world. So pest control is really an essential service. We're there to protect the public health. We're there to protect the food supply, and we're there to protect property. I mean, that's what pest control does.
Right.
So just tried to reiterate these things to everybody, at our office, and let them know, hey, we need to get out there and continue to do what we're doing, and do it safely. And that's, we implemented our programs. We make sure we wear our PPE. We have our gloves. We have our respirators already. Our technicians do. We started doing exterior services and only going in when there's an absolute problem. When we do have a problem inside, we put on our booties. If there is a COVID situation, we have coveralls. We can do the full thing and get inside and still take care of a situation if it's necessary.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're trying to reduce the risk to everybody around us and ourselves.
Right. Awesome. And another question I wanted to ask was, I know you've been around for a long time. It's almost 40 years or over 40 years now. The Bowman Termite's been in operation. How long has it been?
Jill's
Well, yeah, my dad's been around
a long time. Yeah. Has there anything been anything like this that you guys have seen where you've had to deal with such drastic changes to business in such a short time frame?
Not that he's yeah.
I mean, I was around. I was around during the recession. The Great
in
Recession.
2008.
Some people depression, but we saw this similar to this, but not so rapidly. The recession kind of gradually came on, and we were still operating to a capacity. I mean, we have seen a major reduction in everything kind of across the board.
I think that's been how it is for.
It was really gradual, and you had time.
I think you had more time to plan.
Yeah, you had more time to plan.
And this was like we had basically hours to plan.
Right.
It was just like all of a sudden, like okay,
boom.
yeah. And that, I mean, how do you plan for that? And you just.
I mean, I haven't read.
You don't. You roll with the punches.
You don't. You Google stuff, and it's like, what do you do? And
it was like
figure things out.
Every day was doing something else, implementing a plan, making sure we have all those measures in place, because the next thing was every day was a different day. I mean, thankfully now things have kind of kind of come about, and we were able to catch our breath a little bit.
Yeah, the dust is settling a little bit, but so do you have any positives that you've seen or anything enlightening to share?
Yeah, I mean,
talking about them.
Yeah, I mean, well, absolutely.
Disinfectants.
Oh yeah, and we can get into that as well. But I mean, as far as positives in our company, like I said, we did have a lot of we had an aging workforce, but the technology that we were able to bring us all together now, like we have one person in the office, and we have some of our office staff remote now, and just using technology in general has helped a lot. We're able to send out contracts electronically and get them signed now. They're able to answer the phones remotely on my call. We still answer calls for every island with the exception. But it's definitely a blessing that we have the ability to use such advanced technology. I think that's in speaking with a lot of businesses, a lot of people are taking advantage of the technology and updating and advancing their online services to better suit their clients. And I just think of technology because I was out doing a estimate for a termite job for a lady recently, and she was 72, and she had said that she was basically drug into this technology world, kicking and screaming. She was saying that it's not so bad. Like she was telling me she was on FaceTime the other day talking to her grandkids and stuff, and technology is amazing. When people learn how to use it properly, it sure does help.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's a bright spot, I'll tell you too.
Awesome. And then do you have any feelings or indications about the future, any planning that you guys are doing ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely we've been waiting on products all this thing happened so rapidly that the manufacturers of all these disinfectants and sanitizations and virucides, they were just overwhelmed on the mainland and across the world, I believe. So Hawaii in general, I mean, has been waiting on a big batch of these products coming over, and for allowing the pest control operators to go out and do sanitization and disinfectant and virucides. And we are going to be doing that. People are concerned, and you know, it's more peace of mind, you know, like if you've had some kind of situation where there was some COVID in the area, or even if you're just concerned about, you know, any kind of viruses that rodents or something might bring to your home, we have those disinfectants and sanitizations and viricides now all in one, and we will be offering that service.
That's a great way to be rolling with the punches right there. I think that's something that can be very useful for the public.
I was telling Jill when we first started looking into this, because it was becoming, you know, it was happening, you know, in the United States, that I was like, man, I hope we sure don't have to do that, because that would mean that there's a ton of cases around here. And I think Maui's been really blessed and lucky that it hasn't got so significantly out of control. I mean, I know we've had deaths here, and probably more in here than in the state, but you know, we've not seen anything like some of those other states, and I think we're so lucky.
Yeah, we're so lucky for sure.
Continue to be that lucky. Because I would hate to be out there disinfecting and sanitizing everything in sight, you know. I mean, if we have to, we will be there, and we're there for the community, and we will have those available, and we can help.
Awesome. Okay, well, I think that covers everything. Is there anything else you would like to add, or anything else you wanted to express?
Well, we just would like to thank our employees who are out there working so hard, and they're just doing an amazing job, you know, just having to go with the flow of just within the past few weeks of learning new techniques and policies. And so we're just so thankful to them, and also to our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean,
we have such
didn't
loyal customers.
Continue to have those loyal customers out there, you know, those employees wouldn't have anything to do. So yeah, the employees have been great. They continue to act admirably and do their work. I mean, I can't even go to the Big Island and see my crew over there, but I talk to them, you know, every day. I talk to somebody on that island, and they're just happy to get up and go to work. And
awesome. That's
you know, tell me every time, we're washing our hands, we're doing, you know, doing our job and putting our masks on and stuff, and you know, we're going to keep doing it, you know. And I've even had some of the employees. I mean, and employees I can't thank them enough. I mean, we were actually, you know, we actually had to lay off quite a bit of people, but you know, some of the individuals that we did lay off, they were still like we're going to work, you know, like we want to help and make sure that the company survives, and we're going to do everything.
Wow.
So they just try to help as much as they can.
So I mean, we've always been blessed.
So lucky.
And we always try and say that, you know, the people that we have is really what makes this company function, and they sure are proving it daily.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys very much, and thank you so much for your services on the business side, and thank you for your time today joining me. It's been a great talk.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, man.